Okay, now we're on to the floor core work. This is also called the spine softening routine. Come on down to the hands and knees. My toes are pulled underneath me. I'm going to start off by looking down at the ground, driving my neck back just a bit. I'm going to start off by opposite arm, opposite leg reach with a little pause, and then switch, reach, little pause. Now you could point your toe or you can flex your foot. I prefer flexing the foot. That heel, when it drives out, it connects to your butt. Gives the butt a really good little squeeze. I'm going up to shoulder level, up to hip level, giving it a little pause, lengthening, tightening. This already made me heat up just in those few reps. We're going to go about 2 more. And we're going to take everything we do in 3 dimensions. It really unlocks the function of the body. Last one on each side. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come on up with the limbs, reach laterally, come back to center, and down. Up, lateral, center, and down. Up, long and strong, lateral, center, and down. Reach the limbs out, back to center, and down. 4 more. This is really different than what most bodies experience because we're moving laterally. I'm actually starting to sweat now in just that quick amount of time. That's great. Sweat out all the toxins that you're detoxing. Last one. Okay, last direction. One hand's going to come up. I open my hand, I look up. Come on down, switch sides. Go as far as you can. Now, give yourself a chance to get bigger in the motion as you get heated up. You don't have to go to the highest, biggest range at first because you're going to get lubricated and softened. What's so cool about these movements is that they actually allow the food, that delicious, nutritious, fresh, healthy food you're eating, and those high quality supplements to get delivered to the site of the cell where they're needed to burn fat better than if you weren't moving. So you're actually being more efficient with your good healthy food. Okay, last part 4. I'm going to stay on that one arm. I'm going to go up and under. We're working both shoulders here. Really getting those shoulders to move in all directions. Notice how my hand's opening up? That's a great stretch for your nerves. Switch arms. This is called the quadruped. It's a very safe movement. Great core work, but I'm really working my hips and my shoulders as well. 2 more. Here's the last one. Excellent. Okay, I'm going to flush it out in between. Flushing. Toes underneath you. Hands forward, round up the back, rock back, and forward, rock back, and forward. This pushes out all the waste, all the acids. Now I'm going to turn to the diagonal. You're going to want to learn flushing. This is so great for the back. This is what everybody asks for. Can we flush? Switch diagonals, about 3 or 4 reps each side. I will generally flush in between. Now as I get in better shape, I won't flush as much. I'll flush at the beginning of the whole routine and at the end. I'm going to turn on my back. This is for the hips now. This is called hip bridge. Hip bridge is my feet are hip distance. My hands are relaxed by my side. I'm going to lift the hips, pelvic tilting the hips. Don't arch the back. Go as high as you can with the hips. Drive the feet down as you drive the hips up. Then I'm going to slowly tap down. Don't commit the weight to the floor. You're just barely touching the floor and coming up. I go as high as I can, pelvic tilting, not arching the back. And then tap down. As my hips are going up, my feet are going down to make it harder. You can make this same exercise much harder, or you can make it really easy and not get much out of it. So the way you make it harder is you drive up as high as you can, pelvic tilting, drive the feet down. Part 2, knees go right and left. I'm keeping my hips up as high as possible, letting my knees go right and left. Now if this hurts your knees or hurts your back, if it hurts the back, tuck the hips more. If it hurts the knees, don't go as far, or just stay on the first part, the up and down. Last part, right hip up, left hip up. This is the rotation for the pelvis. Notice I'm keeping the heels down. Drive through the heel to drive through the hip. Drive through the heel to drive through the hip. You might feel that one side is harder to get up than the other, so really emphasize that side. My hips are staying high on both sides. I'm just going higher than I did before. And all the way down. That's the hip bridge. Next series, knees are up. My knees are over my hips, not over my chest. over my hips. My hands are palms up. I'm going to round the back, driving my spine down, and then release. Round the back, pelvic tilting, driving my spine down, and then release. Round the back, release. It's a very small motion, but it's really powerful. If you want to make it harder, you pause and hold. Maybe I'll hold 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, release. And then I can do some faster ones too. I really want you to have a pad underneath your back when you do this, even a towel that's folded several times. Now stop in the center, pivot the feet. Pivot the feet. Remember, we're doing everything in 3 dimensions. So I'm doing your core work in 3 dimensions as well, and we'll be doing your strength training later in 3 dimensions. I'm hiking the hip, hiking the hip. Good, stop in the center. Right hip up, left hip up. This is the rotation of the hips. Notice that I'm not swinging my knees right and left. I'm just driving my legs straight up to the ceiling. This one is the smallest motion that you'll see, but it's probably the hardest one we do. One more on each side. Excellent. Okay, come on down. Here's a flush. Walk your feet wide. Drop one knee in. If this feels okay, pelvic tilt. Drive the knee down. This really stretches here. This feels really good. Release. Come on out. Go back with the other side. If that's okay, you can intensify by tucking the hip and pulling the knee down. Drive your neck down. This is a great stretch through here. Release. Come on out. And here's the big one. We're going to go on to a forearm plank. I'm on my forearms and my toes. My toes are a little wider than my hips. They're maybe shoulder distance. I start by going hips right and left. This is called a forearm plank with a hip driver. This is some good stuff. This is a little more advanced now. We're going to go circles. Just like that. I'm doing about 5 reps a piece. Change directions. A trainer never knows how to count, by the way. We always get the numbers wrong, but I always err on your benefit. That means more than less. One more time. Now we go rotation. Now if any of these hurt you, do the last one that worked well for you. Some tips on if it hurt you, pike your hips up a little bit. Stop in the center. Here's the last one. Pike up and back down. Now when I go up, I'm driving my belly button to the spine, intensifying the work. Driving my belly button to the spine, intensifying the work. Last one. Knees down. Here's your final flush. Toes are underneath you. My knees are hip distance. Hands forward, round the back, drop the face. This is flushing out the spine, flushing out the armpits. This feels so good. One more time. Okay, I'm going to go diagonally and flush. About 3 or 4 reps or so, whatever feels good. Switch sides. Last one. And there we have it. Floor core.